Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Live from Yellowstone. Rabbi Isai, once again, we have more than a full Amud. The very large Amud Aleph, Tzadik Beis, is all Agadita. And we have to finish up with like 18 lines of Tzadik Aleph, Amud Beis, in Agadita. And then we have, Baruch Hashem, we're going to get back to a little bit of Gid Hanasha on that Tzadik Beis, Amud Beis. So says the Gemara, Vayomer 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. I lied. It's 21 lines from the bottom. The Malach is fighting with Yaakov Avinu. And he says, he comes in the morning, he says, Shalcheni, Vayomer Shalcheni Kol HaShochar. Let me go. Omar Lois, Yaakov Avinu says, so what if it's the morning? Ganavato. What are you, a kidnapper? You're a ganav. You're worried about the light. Omar Loi. Malachani. I have to tell you the truth. I'm not a human being. I'm a malach. What a coincidence. I'm around for a long time. I've never said the shira in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Today, this morning, it's my turn. I don't want to miss my one-time opportunity. What a missed opportunity. Your whole existence is to say shira to the Rebbeinu Shalom. You're going to miss it. Says the Gemara, this is a good right to Rav. The Omer of Hanan el Rav. There are 3 groups of malachim. Each one says shira on a different day. Achas Yomer is Kadosh. One says Kadosh. Achas Yomer is Kadosh. And then the second one says Kadosh. Achas Yomer is Kadosh. Hashem Tzvakos. Now, if we look at these 3 words, Kadosh, Hashem Tzvakos, so the name of the Rebbeinu Shalom of Hashem comes after the word Kadosh, which is the second word. One word Kadosh, and then comes Hashem. Meisvei. Oh. So it seems like, okay, it's a right to Rav that the Malachim say Shir once in their lifetime. The problem is, Chavivim Meisvei Chavivim Yisrael from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Klal Yisrael is beloved in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yosim HaMalachei Ashar is more than the Malachim. She Yisrael Yom Shir B'chol Shah. A Jew could give shvach to the Rebbeinu Shalom any minute he wants, any moment, all day long. U'Malachei Ashar is in Yom Shir Elo Pamachas B'yoyim. And Malachim only give shira once a day. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Shabbos. And some say once a week. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Chodesh. And some say only once a month. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Shana. Only once a year. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Shavua. And some say only once every 7 years. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Yovel. And some say once every 50 years. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Olam. Only one time in their entire existence. Yisrael Maskirim Hashem Achar Shtei Tevos. Another thing, why are Klal Yisrael more beloved? You can see, because all Klal Yisrael have to do is they have to say the words Shema Yisrael, and then they say Hashem's name. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Shenema Shema Yisrael Hashem. U'malachei Ashar Zeh Maskirim Hashem Elalach Shalosh Tevos. But a malach must say 3 words, Kodesh, 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 and then only then Hashem Tzvakos. Oh, so how could you tell me that the malachim from the 3rd group, they say Kodesh Hashem Tzvakos, only one time Kodesh. You have to say, in order for them to say Hashem's name, they have to say 3 words beforehand. In addition, sorry, did I skip? Kodesh, 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 Hashem Tzvakos. And the malachim above cannot say shira until the one Klal Yisrael says shira down below. Shenemar, Biron Yachad Koichi Boker. After that, Vayiriu Kol Bnei Elukim. Then come the malachim. Elachas Yomer Kodesh, Vachas Yomer Kodesh, Vachas Yomer Kodesh, Kodesh Kodesh Hashem Tzvakos. So we have to change it. It's not that one says Kodesh, the second one says Kodesh, and then the third one says Kodesh Hashem Tzvakos. Rather, the first one doesn't even say Hashem's name. The first group says Kodesh. The second group says Kodesh, Kodesh, twice. The third group, they don't say Kodesh Hashem Tzvakos. The third group says Kodesh, 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 Hashem Tzvakos. So we see that Klal Yisrael is more important than Malachim because they just say Shema Yisrael 2 words. and then Hashem Elokeinu. Whereas the Malachim have to say 3 words, Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzvachas. Ask the Gemara, Vayike Baruch. What about Baruch, Kvoid Hashem, B'mkoimai? So they say 2 words, and then Hashem saying, Baruch, Kvoid Hashem. Just like Klal Yisrael. They don't have to say the 3 words. Daf, Tzadik Beis, Amud Aleph on top. Baruch, Oifanim Udamerlei. My answer is, it's not Malachim. Oifanim. Oifanim are a higher level. Inachanami. We're talking about Malachim. Klal Yisrael versus Malachim. Once a Malach has Rishus to say Hashem's name after he said 3 words, then he could say Hashem's name after 2 words. We're going back to Yaakov Avinu. It says in the pasuk in Navi, Vayosar el Malach vayuchal, Bocha vayischan. Now, vayuchal, that he beat him. Who beat who? Yaakov Avinu. Vayosar is a lashon vayovek, that they struggled, they hugged. Vayosar el Malach vayuchal, Bocha vayischan. Any of them minas sar lemi. So says the Gemara, I don't know who beat who, who's the sar, who's in charge. Shoimer ki sarisa im Elokim have oimer Yaakov nasa sar lemalach. Oh, okay. So Yaakov Avinu won. Bocha vayischan, he cried and he begged him. Eri dami bocha lemi. I don't know who cried to who. Shoimer vayomer shalcheini. When the Malach begged to be sent home, so it's obvious that the Malach cried to Yaakov Avinu. Ki sarisa im Elokim v'im. It says in the pasuk, fought with Elokim. Elokim is the lashon of Dayanim. We always call it Dayan, Elokim, Elohim. V'im. So what are the 2 categories? Dayanim and non-Dayanim. Omar Rabbo Remez Loi. The Malach gave him a hint. They're going to be 2 greats. Rosh Goylos of Bavel, the head of Golos in Bavel. In other words, those in Bavel don't have smicha. They're like Anoshim. V'nasi Shabbat Yisrael, he has smicha. Imelikim. Adayan. But because there's a Rosh Goyla. What's a Rosh Goyla? Rosh Goyla is the head of the Golos, head of Bavel in the time of Golos. So he hinted to Yaakov Avinu that Klal Yisrael is going to be ending up in Bavel in Golos. Now we're moving on to Yosef HaTzadik's dream. It's a true Agadita, through and through. Ubagefen shloisha sarigim. So the Sarah Mashkim dreamt that there was grapes, and there were 3 sarigim. Omrav Chir Barab Omarav, Eilu Shloisha Sarig. What's a sarig? What's a sarig? Sarig Geim Hayotzim Yisrael B'chol Dar V'Dar. There are 3 proud sarim. How do you say sarim? A sar. Darlam knows what a sar is. Sarig Geim Hayotzim Yisrael B'chol Dar V'Dar. Pamim Shishnayim Kam V'Echad Be'ez Yisrael. There's 3, so you got to divide them. Eretz Yisrael and Bavel. So sometimes 2 are in Bavel and 1 is in Eretz Yisrael. Sometimes 2 in Eretz Yisrael and 1 in Bavel. The sons of the daughter of Rav. So those 2, officers. Sarah's the officer. Oh, the 3 Goyim, Zog the Gemara Tanya, or Reb Eli Stefansky Gefen Zehoilom. So now we're going to have a bunch of different explanations what these things are in the dream. Gefen, grapes, are the world. Shloisha Sarigim, the 3 Sarigim. What's the 3 Sarigim? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Davis. The Hikeferachas also Nitza. Nitza is like the beginning of the grape when it's still weak. Elu haimais. They're weaker than the avos. It's a smaller fruit. If shilu ashkeleseh anovim, they ripened, became grapes. Elu ashvatim. These are the shvatim. It doesn't make sense the way you're interpreting the dream. Why would it show Yosef a tzaddik or the Sarah Mashkin? Why would it show him a dream that happened already? Yosef knows what happened. Show him a dream that's going to show the future. The dream is only about the future. Elo Gefen's a Torah. So we have to explain that the word Gefen is referring to the Torah. Those are the three. This is the future. He's showing Yosef there's going to be Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Also Nitza, Elu Sanhedrin. What does Nitza mean? These are the Sanhedrin, the 71 Sanhedrin. Every generation is going to have tzaddikim. We still need the he explains the whole dream in one place. So it's all referring to the Beis Hamikdash, Yerushalayim, the three Surigims in Migdash, Melech, the Kohen Gadol, those three things, the Beis Hamikdash, the king, and the Kohen Gadol. These are the young Kohanim that work in the Beis Hamikdash. These are the libations, the wine that you bring with the Korbanos. Rabbi Shimon Levi says it's referring to the gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Chai Yisrael. It's an unbelievable gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. The well in the midbar, Amud Anan in the midbar, the cloud that guided and protected Chai Yisrael. Man, we all know about the man, all gifts. So we have a gift called Bikurim. What's Bikurim? When you have the first fruit, we bring a gift to Yerushalayim. So why is that a gift to us? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us these beautiful fruits. He brought us into Israel and gave us these fruits. So what do you do with the grapes? You make wine for the Mizbeach. It's Klal Yisrael. Gefen Mitzrayim Tesiyah. You see that Gefen is referring to Klal Yisrael because from Mitzrayim he moved us. The three Serigim are not referring to Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, and Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. It's referring to the three Yom Tovim that Klal Yisrael has: Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. And we come up to the Beis Hamikdash during those Yom Tovim. V'hi k'ferachas also nitza. He gives man Yisrael lifrois v'lirbois. Time came for Klal Yisrael to multiply. V'chein oimer v'bnei Yisrael paru v'yishrutu. Also nitza, what's that? He gives man Yisrael ligoel. Klal Yisrael is going to be nigal through the blood of the Mitzrim. V'chein oimer v'yeiz nitzcham. Al bigdei al bigodai v'chol mabushai egaolti. This is the red blood on my clothing. B'kitzur the nitza. This is the blood of Mitzrayim. If Shilo Ashkel Se'ad Novim, he gives manash of Mitzrayim lishtos kois hatarela. The Mitzrayim are going to drink a cup of poison of nekama, of revenge. Why did the Sarah Mashkim dream about 3 cups of wine in his dream? There's 1 cup of revenge in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, meaning the 10 makkos that the Mitzrayim received. That when Nebuchadnezzar came and destroyed the Egyptians. So that's the second one. In the future, by when Mashiach comes, that's when they're going to get punished for the 3rd time. When Rab would discuss the dream in Agadata, he said it like you. It's referring to Yitzias Mitzrayim. It's all about Mitzrayim, not about the Beis Hamikdash, not about the Avos. Umazu Klal Yisrael Ki gefen imshla is compared to the grapes. Zmoyer shaba edu balibatim. There's a very big yesod there in this Gemara. The zmoyros, the branches, these are the balabatim. These are the wealthy people in Klal Yisrael that do a lot of chesed, that take care of the poor. The main part of the grape. What's the main part of the grape? The main part of the grape of the vineyard are the grapes. That's the ikar. What is that? That's referring to Eilu Talmid Chacham. That's the ikar of Klal Yisrael. But Klal Yisrael needs all the parts. They need the balabatim to do chesed. They need the Talmid Chachamim. And they also need the Amei Aretz. Alan Shaba, the leaves, the protectors of the grapes, Eilu Amei Aretz. You hear this? We need the Amaratzim. In other words, we need the people that are going to do the dirty work, that are going to, so to speak, they're going to go plant, they're going to be farmers, they're going to milk the cows. We need the people. Everybody has a job. Everybody in Klal Yisrael has a job. Knoi Shaba, those little, those vines that wrap themselves around the poles. These are the Oivre Aveira, those who do the Aveiras. This is what they send from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Liboy Rachamim Iskolaya al Olayo. Iskolaya are the grapes should daven for the leaves. You hear this? They sent from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Please daven. The grapes in Bavel should daven for the leaves. In other words, the Talmid Chacham should daven for the Amei Aretz because we need them. They're important. They're important for society. Says the Gemara, "V'ekra li b'chamisha osar kosef." A pasuk in Hosea. Omer Rebbe Mishum Tzadok en kira elaloshem mechira. Shenemar b'kivri asher karizali. Kira means to sell, referring there to a wife. Shenemar b'kivri asher karizali. B'chamisha osar is the chamisha osar b'nisan. Shaboy nigalu Yisrael Mitzrayim. It's referring, it's a hint to the 15th day of Nisan, the Geula from Mitzrayim. Kesef elu tzadikim. V'chein oimer tzorah kesef lokach b'yodoi. So Rashi says over here, the Sholchulei Amur Moilu Nebuchadnezzar, the Shomol Levim the Istabu B'Churbana, Toach Ravinu Sholach L'Hu Mistafinu Melechoi. Says they sent Amur Moilu to Nebuchadnezzar, come kill the Jews, be Machav Eretz Yisrael. So he said, no, I'm scared of their God. Sholchulei Keiru Ish Bebeisoi. He's not there. Hashem is gone. Sholach L'Hu B'Karivas. He's coming soon. Sholchulei. So they sent back. Cholach b'derech l'mirachik. No, he's far away. Sholchulei iket tzadik de'boy rachmei. Sholchulei tzor hakezem l'chav yodei tzadikim shebem hemisam. There's no more tzadikim. Okay. So state, what does it say in the pasuk? Kesef elu tzadikim v'cheinu oimer tzor hakezem l'chav yodei. Now, choymer soirim. Choymer soirim is 30 saw. V'lesach soirim is 15. So 30 plus 15 is 45. The world needs in every generation 45 tzaddikim. I don't know if the 30 are here in Bavel, and the other 15 are in Israel, or it's in the reverse. 30 there in Israel and 15 here. They're divided 30 and 15 like in the puzzle. It says, Beis Hashem, the house of Hashem, where's that in Israel? So the split is 30 in Israel and 15 here. I love this. These 45 tzaddikim, you know where you're going to find them? Not in the Mizrach. You're going to find them in the back where the so to speak, losers sit. It's the ones that you'll never tell. You won't be able to see that they're tzaddikim. That's the point there. They're hidden. Hidden tzaddikim. V'ayne d'chsev. V'oymar aleim im toy v'einechem chovus chorir. V'im loi chadalu. Basically, it's chorir shlishim kesef, and they gave me a salary of 30 kesef. There are 30, the righteous among the nations, the 30. That because of them, the rest of the world, the nations survive. The 30 mitzvahs that the Bnei Noach accepted upon themselves. So Rashi says, I don't know what the 30 are. But the Arishonim, the Ramon Pana says, so our artists put together a nice list here. It goes like this. The 7 mitzvahs, B'nai Noach, Beis Nanula, V'zara, and in Avodah Zara, there's 5 different things. Putting your kids to the fire, Kaisim Mayim Menachesh, and then Mechashev Choy V'Chovet Dorish B'Oiv Dorish B'Yidoyni Dorish LaMesim 10. Gila Raya, sorry, let me go back here, I went too fast. Doing Kalayim, different minim, Sirus, Harkavas Elon, Shvichas Domim, Hakavas Yisrael Alechioi, hitting a Jew, Birkus Hashem, in other words, the curse. These are the 30. Gezel. Dinim Shmir Shabbos, 25 and 6. Eber Menachai, you get to 30. Da Menachai, Nevelo, and eating a human being is as of the 30. Now, they only keep 3. These are the 3 that they keep. Isa Zachar, Mr. Chavetz HaTorah, Achilles Basar, otherwise. So says the Gemara as follows. Ve'ein Mekayim Melashloisha. Now the question is, do they even keep 3 in our generation? What are the 3? She'ein, Kaisrin, Ksuba, L'Zcharim. They don't marry off to Zacharim. Unfortunately, we can't say that that's the case in our society. V'achas she'ein shoiglin b'sar meiz b'mekoilin. When they sell, the first part, when they sell human flesh, they don't weigh it, they don't sell it by weight. I think they keep that. V'achas shemechavdim b'sar. This one I'm not so sure. If they have complete respect for the Old Testament, the Torah, I don't know. Okay, so now we're going back to Gidra Nosha. It's a Gidra Nosha. So every day we were zoichet to have an Amud of Agadat. Today's no different. 3 lines from the top. Ve'einoi noyeg ba'oif. Now what? A bird doesn't have Gidra Nosha. Why? Because he doesn't have that round spoon on his thigh. As the Gemara, because he does have meat over there. But it's not round. It's not rounded off. Let's see if we have a good picture of this. It's not round. It doesn't have that nice shape that a behemoth has. What if you find a chicken that does have a round thigh? First thing that came to mind for me, it's hard for me to understand the question. Once most chickens don't have, so then you see that the Rebbe didn't want in that category to have Gidra Nosha. No, the Gemara doesn't understand that way. Do we go by the breed? And that breed, that type of animal, which is called a bird, doesn't have Gidra Nosha at all. So this particular bird has a giant, rounded thigh. So maybe he shouldn't have Gidra Nosha because his whole breed doesn't have Gidra Nosha. Or maybe not. Maybe the only reason why birds don't have Gidra Nosha is because they don't have that round. But once they have a rounded thigh, then they should have a Gidra Nosha. And believe it or not, the Gemara says, let's just read the words, Basa Didei Azdina, and Basa Mini Azdina, Teiko. We have to wait until Mashiach to find out the answer to that question. Here's a behemoth that has a rounded tie. Here's the Gidra Nosha. Oh, that top piece. You saw that top piece pop out? That's the spoon, the round. V'noyeg b'shalom. So we said that the Gidra Nosha is also in a 9-month baby. In other words, a baby that was born in the 9th month. So it's a full-term baby or calf animal. And it's really machlokes whether or not it applies. Omer Shmuel v'chel boi mutar l'rakol. So when it comes to the fat of this 9-month full-term animal, everybody agrees that you're allowed to eat its fat. Says the Gemara, chel boi demai, what fat are you talking about? Are you talking about the fat of the fetus? We have a machlokes whether or not you're allowed to eat it. The Gidra Nosha is also in the baby, but and the chaylev is also also. The Remeir says the chaylev is also. So why are you telling me that everybody agrees that the chaylev is mutter? Where Remeir says straight out the chaylev of the fetus is also. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that says the chaylev is mutter. Why? Because the fetus, as we've seen in a second, the fetus is a ben pekua. There's no chaylev, there's no Gidra Nosha, nothing. Remeir says there's no ben pekua by a full-term baby. In other words, you can't be shoichet the mother and eat the baby. You have to do a special shechita on the baby. Why? Because it's full-term. So if it's full-term, chaylev aser, gid aser. But there's machlokes. Don't tell me everybody holds that the chaylev is mutter. And the Gemara explains, the whole machlokes is in a baby that was born full term and it's alive. Remeir goes by his own shita that there's no concept of ben pekua. What's a ben pekua? If you weren't with us, if you just landed here in the daf, ben pekua is when you shech the mother and you find the baby inside. You don't have to do shchita on the baby. Comes Remeir and says that's great most of the pregnancy, but if it's the last month of the pregnancy, in other words, the baby came full term and you shech the mother, you cannot eat the baby. The baby's like its own entity. Rabbi Yehuda says that you could always eat the baby. So, if you could eat the baby, there's no isser to eat the baby's chaylev, but there's no isser to eat the Gidra Nosha. Okay, so it can't be the fat of this baby. So what is it? Yeah. Every Gidra Nosha has fat on it. Showed you the picture. The fat, there's fat right by the Gidra Nosha. That's what we're talking about. So the Gemara, but that also is a machlokes. One Madama says you got to go deep in and take out all the fat of the Gidra Nosha. So it's asur. Don't tell me the fat of the Gidra Nosha is mutter when you have to go inside and then dig deep to get to all the fat and get it out. Remeir says you go right into it, deep into the meat. Reb Yehuda no. Reb Yehuda says you don't have to go deep. That's too much. Okay, so Reb Yehuda holds that this fat is completely mutter. Just don't eat it because it doesn't look good. Marasayin. So therefore, you don't have to go deep in. Just cut to the surface of the meat. Whatever fat is on the top, just get rid of that. Akaparim, you see this is machlokes. And you're telling me there's no machlokes in the fat. So what fat are we talking about? Says the Gemara, you know what? We are talking about this. What we just spoke about, the fat that surrounds the Gidra Nosha. We just said that it's a machlokes, and you're telling me that everybody agrees that it's mutter. The whole issue is only the Rabbanan issue. The Remeir agrees that it's not awesome in the Torah. So we have an agreement that this fat is mutter midaraisa. Yeah, Rabbanan said it's awesome. The fat of the Gidra Nosha is mutter. Yisrael G'doshim, again, like we had yesterday, such a lashon naga Yisrael Kadosh, and they don't eat this fat. In other words, minat Torah it's mutter. They're makbid. Remeir domar mutter minat Torah v'asam d'Rabbanan. It's a fact mutter midaraisa, but it's awesome d'Rabbanan. So the Gemara, who told me? Dilma Rabbi Yehuda, or perhaps it's Rabbi Yehuda. Maybe we have a real machlokes here that according to Remeir it's awesome. This is going according to Rabbi Yehuda, not according to Remeir. According to Rabbi Yehuda it's mutter, according to Remeir it's awesome. So Nimar loisol kadai tov l'tanya gidar noshim mechatet achar b'chol makom shehu ushanoi mutar. You have to dig deep to get it all out, but you should know that the fat is mutar. That the gidar nosha, you go deep in, but the fat is mutar. Man shamas l'dis lechatita. Whoever discussed the idea of digging deep, Reb Meir becoming shamim mutar. Bottom line, we had a halacha here. Who said it? Oh, Omar Shmuel. Shmuel says that the fat is mutter according to everybody. We established what fat? The fat of the Gidar Nosha. In fact, it's mutter according to everybody. Midai Raisa. Midai Rabbanon, it's machlokes Reb Meir and review the whether there's Issa the Rabban. Omar Rabbi Bar Shmuel. Does review the arguing that on the Rabbanon part? I don't want to go back too much. The Meir Midai Rabbanon also. But according to Rebbe, just the top part is also. Yeah. Rebbe also agrees the top part is also because of Meir sign. So maybe the machlokes would be in the deeper part. Okay? Omer Rav Bar Shmuel. Bar Marto, Omer Rav. Again, Omer Rav Bar Shmuel Bar Marto. Is Shmuel Bar Marto. Omer Rav in the name of Rav. Lo Yosef Torah Elo Knoiknoi Shabai. Knoiknois are the very small, like we just had before, knoiknois of the vineyard. Those little vines that go around the pole, and we said those are the people that do Averis. So knoiknois are the smaller nerves. There's the sciatic nerve, the larger one, and then there's the smaller ones that come out of it. So Rav says, the smaller ones that are edible, those are the ones that are asr. It's wood. It's not edible, but the Torah says it's asr. Seems like that it's like ula. The Omar of Shish, Omar of Asid, chutim shebachelev asurin. The strings in the chelev are asur. Vein chayov malayim, but you're not chayiv. Almo chelev Omar Achmona v'loy chutim. Hachinami gid Omar Achmona v'loy knoiknois. Knoiknois says Rashi gidin dakim aholchim bar chayor mutachas habasur migid achitzin legidin v'hein asur. If you shein rakim noisin tam. Those are the ones that also says Rav. Gid atzmi shu b'roish hashoifi koshu v'eitz ba'almahu. So Rav says that only the knoiknois, because they are edible, like I explained before, and not the main one. And Ula says eitu, even though the main one is wood, terchiyev alav. So, and then we bring a raya, gidom rachmona v'loy knoiknois, that the chiyuv of the Torah answered the main one that's wood, that's not edible, and not the knoiknois. The veins in the chelev are also, but you're not chayiv. In other words, they're rabbanan. Shebekulya, those veins in the kidney are also vein chayav malayim. Once again, here. So here's a picture of the white veins in the kidney. Loiven kulya, but the white part in the kidney, as you can see in this description over here, picture, asur vein chayav malayim. It's also to eat that white, but you're not chayiv. You don't get malgus. Sorry, I think I skipped. Let's go back. Here we have machlokes. So the white that you see here on the picture is the machlokes Reb Chia and Rebbe. Rabba says the Gemara, memartitle, he'd go all the way down and take it out. Rabbi Yochanan also will go deep in and pull it out. Rabasi, he wouldn't go deep down. Whatever is on top, goimle, you take from the top. Omar Abaye, then you don't have to go deep in. You just go from the top. Omar Rabba, Omar Yehuda, Omar Shmuel, Chelev, Shabasar Chayfa Isai, Mutar. So maybe we'll do this tomorrow. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.